Hello everybody, today I can solve mortgage questions using the given formula and principal equals total amount minus the down payment. So let's start by talking about that. Principal equals the total amount minus the down payment. So let's say that I want to buy a car for $50,000. And well, like many people, I don't have $50,000. I want to buy a $50,000 car. So that means that the total cost is $50,000. Now I'm going to take out let's put it this way. So I'm going to take out a loan so I can, buy the car, which I can't afford, which is kind of the way things happen here in America. So I have $10,000. So I'm going to make a $10,000 down payment. So my down payment is going to be 10 grand. If that's the case, how big of a loan do I have to take out? Well, I think it's pretty much common sense. If I need to pay $50,000 and I only have $10,000, then what I need is going to be 50,000 minus 10,000, which is 40,000. And what that's called is the principal. So it's a $40,000 loan. So that means that the principal is $40,000 because the principal is the total cost minus the down payment. So in this case, the principal was the total cost, 50,000 minus the down payment, 10,000, which gives me 40,000. So this little formula is going to come up here. So if they're ever asking about down payment, it's all about the principal, because within the formulas that you're going to be given, you're going to have a variable for principal, but you're not going to have a variable for down payment. So P equals T minus D, principal equals the total amount minus the down payment. And again, hopefully that makes sense. If the total cost of the car is $50,000, my down payment is $10,000, the amount of the loan, the principal value of the loan, I'm going to subtract the total cost and the down payment. Let's talk about some other little things that you need to know for this. They're going to come up. The monthly rate. For the monthly rate, just like with percents in general, we're going to divide the rate by 100 to make it into a decimal. And the other thing that's going to come up is the number of monthly payments. Well, how many monthly payments do I make in a year? That would be 12. There's 12 months in a year. How many monthly payments do I make in 2 years? So 12 monthly payments for 1 year would be 12. How many monthly payments would I make in 2 years? Well, that would be 12 times 2, which is 24. How many monthly payments would I make in 3 years? Well, 12 times the number of years, and that's what I end up with. The number of monthly payments is 12 times the number of years. So that's going to come up in these problems as well. Outside of that, I think it's time to move into this. Again, whenever they're talking about principal, whenever they talk about principal or down payment, we're going to use P equals T minus D. And if they're asking you to find the down payment, we're going to always have to find P first. I'm going to put that into the notes. If asked for down payment, find P, and then do T equals, or P equals T minus D. All right, let's jump into a problem. These are usually 4-point questions, although they could be a 2-point question. And they will give you the formula. And there's different formulas, so that's why you don't have to memorize them, but they will always give you the formula. But you do have to know, again, that P equals T minus D. You need to know that the number of monthly payments is 12 times the number of years. And if they're asking you for D, you're always finding P. Jim is looking to buy a vacation home for $172,600 near his favorite southern beach. That's the total cost of the home. The formula to compute a mortgage payment is M. So what I would do here, I would start by writing down the formula. There's a lot of variables going on here. And I'm going to not just list the variables, what they are, but what they represent. So I have M equals, I have P equals, I have R equals, I have N equals. So it says mortgage payment M. M is the mortgage payment. P is the principal. That's the amount of the loan. R is the monthly interest rate. And N is the number of monthly payments. So there are 2 questions. We're going to deal with one at a time. So Jim's bank offers a monthly interest rate of 0.305. So we're going to have to divide that by 100. That becomes 0.00305. Whenever it's a percent, divide it by 100 or move the decimal 2 places to the left. 15-year mortgage, that's going to be 12 times 15, which is going to be 180. And again, the number of monthly payments is the years times 12 with no down payment. So principal is the total minus the down payment. The total is $172,600 minus the down payment is 0. So in this case, the principal is the total, but that's not going to always be the case. And it's asking for the mortgage payment. So M equals 172,600 times 0.00305. 1 plus 0.00305 to the N is 180 over 1 plus 0.00305 to the power of 180 minus 1. Can I type this whole thing into the calculator? Yes. So it might look complicated, but it's really not, at least so far. So I'm going to just type this whole thing into the calculator. 172,600 times, to get the fraction, alpha y equals enter, 0.00305. 1 plus 0.00305 to the power of 180 over 1 plus 0.00305 to the power of 180 minus 1. It wants me to round to the nearest dollar. That would be $12.47. All right. Now there's a second question. Algebraically determine and state the down payment. So it's asking us for D. It's asking us for the down payment. If they ask for the down payment, we have to first find P. Then I use this. So my mortgage payment's going to change. My principal is what I'm trying to find now. My monthly interest rate doesn't change, and my number of monthly payments doesn't change. That doesn't change. So now my mortgage payment is going to be $1,100. It wants the down payment, which means first I have to find the principal. So let's kind of clear some space here. That's 1 plus RTM. All right, so 1,100 equals P is what we're trying to find, times 0.00305. I'm just going to make it, in the previous problem I had a 1 plus. I'm just going to write 1.00305. Just a little bit easier to work with. Over 1.00305 to the power of 180 minus 1. Now, the algebra isn't as simple as it was in the last question, but I can't type the entire problem in, but I can type this whole thing in. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go alpha y equals enter, 0.00305, 1.00305 to the power of 180 over 1.00305 to the power of 180 minus 1. I get 0.007 dot dot dot. And now to get P, I'm just going to divide both sides by the 0.007. Now I didn't have to do that step. I could have just divided both sides with that giant thing, but that just, I don't know, I find that's a little bit more confusing. I feel like it's easier to just do it like this. So, do that whole thing first, and then just do 1,100 divided by this whole thing. 152,193. 152,193 points. Might as well write the rest down. 191. That's P. It wants D. Well, your principal is your total minus your down payment. Or you could look at the other way. Your down payment is your total minus your principal. Either one is the total minus the other. So it's probably going to be easier to just use this one. So the down payment is your total, which is 172,600, minus the principal, which is 152,193.191, or should I say 0.172,600 minus copy and paste to the nearest dollar, 20,407. So this is a 4-point question. This is a common 4-point question on the Regents. For the first part, it asked me for M. I literally just subbed all the values in, and I popped into the calculator and got an answer. When they ask me for the down payment, I have to first find P, because there is no D in the form that they give me. So I just fill everything in. I typed this giant thing in because I could to make it easier. That giant thing gave me the 0.007. I divided that away to solve for P. Once I have P, the down payment is the total minus the principal, or you could use this one. It's just the algebra is a little bit trickier if you use that one. But either way, the principal and the down payment is the total minus the other one. Once I do that, I ended up with my down payment. And that's it. So these questions look really hard, but if you practice them, they're really not. There's a lot of little things. Again, the number of monthly payments is going to be the number of years times 12 for your interest. And again, this comes back to what we've been doing all year. If you see a percent, you have to divide it by 100 to make it into a decimal. That's it. I mean, the rest of it's pretty straightforward. It's just plugging into an ugly looking formula. Number 2. Let's go orange. Using the formula below, determine the monthly payment on a 5-year car loan with a monthly payment, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's start filling things in. So the present amount borrowed, that's the principal. Well, principal equals total minus the down payment. The total cost is $21,000. The down payment is $1,000, which makes $20,000. My present amount borrowed. The amount I'm borrowing, the principal is the total minus the down payment. Number of monthly pay periods is going to be the number of years times 12. The monthly payment, determine the monthly payment. That's what I'm trying to find. And the interest rate per month, monthly percentage rate of 0.625%. So it becomes 0.00625. So PN is 20,000. So I'm going to try and I'll do it down here. So it becomes 20,000 equals PMT is X. 1 minus 1 plus I is, I'm just going to write 1.00625. You could have written 1 plus 0.00625, but I like to do it better that way. To the negative n to the negative 60 over I 0.00625. So I'm solving for x, so I can type this whole thing into the calculator to make it easier. I don't have to. At this point, I could divide both sides by this giant thing, but I just find that more complicated. I'd rather just type this whole thing in first and get an answer for that, and then proceed. So might as well put those parentheses there. Alpha y equals enter. 1 minus parentheses 1.00625 to the power of negative 60 over 0.00625. 49.9 dot dot dot. So then to solve for x, I'm going to divide by the 49.9 dot dot dot. X equals 20,000 divided by this. It wants the answer to the nearest cent. That's $400.76. Remember, cent is always 2 decimal places. The reason I didn't round to 2 decimal places in the last problem is because it specifically said to the nearest dollar. This question says to the nearest cent. All right, that's the answer to the first question. Now we have a second question. The affordable monthly payment is $300. Monthly payment is $300. So now we have a new situation. The principal is going to change. The percent rate is not going to change. The number of monthly payments. Basically, the rate and the duration is not changing. But the other ones are. So now the affordable monthly payment, the monthly payment is now $300. and it wants the down payment. So again, to find the down payment, you have to first find P. So P, or P of n, is what I'm trying to find, the principal. So I have x equals, you know what? Why don't you try and take it from here? So please pause it, substitute all the values in. That'll give you the principal. In fact, you know what? I'm going to call it P instead of X. And then once you find the principal, we'll kind of go from there. So pause, try to find P or P of n, and then unpause. Okay, so P equals TMT is 300. 1 minus 1.00625 to the negative 60 over 0.00625. Can I type this whole thing into the calculator? Yes. So I've got 300 alpha y equals enter 1 minus 1.00625 to the power of negative 60 over 0.00625. It wants me to round to the nearest dollar, so I'm not going to round yet. I'm just going to write 14971 dot dot dot. So now that I have that, again, it's asking me for the down payment, but like I said, to find the down payment, we first have to find the principal. Now, to find the down payment, again, you can look at it two ways, as either P equals T minus D, or it's probably easier to do it as D equals T minus P. In the first part of the problem, I really needed to use that one more because I needed P. Now, since I want D, it would make more sense to use that one, but you can use either one. It's just the algebra is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to do it as D equals T minus P. D equals the total cost is 21,000. P I just found is 14971 dot dot dot. 21,000 minus, copy and paste that, to the nearest dollar is $6,028. So if you're wondering what the practicality of this is, well, I think this is pretty obviously practical. If you're buying a car or buying a house and you know how much you want your monthly payments to be, and you need to know how much you need to put down in order to get that, you know, that's obviously where this will come into play. It's all just substituting into the formula. The little twists, the interest rate, again, just like any percent, I have to divide it by 100, move the decimal place to the left. The number of monthly payments, I have to multiply 12 times the number of years. And to find the down payment, I have to first find the principal, and then I do the total minus the down payment. So a few little things. Again, interest rate, divide by 100. Number of monthly payments, multiply the number of years times 12, and then P equals T minus D, or D equals T minus P. They're essentially the same formula, just manipulated differently. And from there, you're just substituting the values in. These look hard, they're really not if you practice them. If these were not practiced, it would be a hard question to get correct. All right, there's a little twist at the beginning of this, so I'm going to go over that little twist with you. Outside of that, I'm going to let you kind of try this one on your own. So, Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins just closed on a new home whose purchase price was $380,000. That's your T. That's the total cost of the home. At this closing, they supplied a down payment of $20,000. A down payment of 20% of the purchase price. This was the purchase price. So the down payment was 20% of the purchase price. I want you to try and figure that out for about 15 seconds of what the down payment is. 20% of the purchase price is, well, 20% of 380,000 would be 0.2 times 380,000. That's not something that's particular to this lesson. That's just something with percents you've been doing since 7th grade. If I want to find 20% of something, I make it into a decimal and I multiply by 100. I'm sorry, I turn it into a decimal and then I multiply by the total amount. So my down payment is 76,000. Again, down payment is not a variable. Then my principal, P is T minus D. So principal is going to be the total cost minus the down payment, which is 76,000. So 380,000 minus 76,000 is 304,000. What you could have also done, you could have done, well, if their down payment is 20%, then their loan, their principal is 80%, and you could have done 80% of 380,000 to get that as well. So either route would have worked. All right, so I got my P. Let's get everything else here. M is the mortgage payment. P is the principal. We got that. R is the monthly interest rate. Monthly rate. N is the number of monthly payments. Again, I like to always kind of list my variables. Now it's two separate questions. So right now, ignore this. And the first question's up here. So I want you to pause, try to do the first problem, then unpause. Okay, now that you tried the top one on your own, the annual interest rate was 0.3125. Okay, you know what? This I believe was a typo. I think this is supposed to say the monthly, if I remember correctly. Let me just make sure. If I give a moment. Yeah, I just double checked my key. That was supposed to be monthly, so that was just my mistake. So hopefully I didn't throw you off too much. So the monthly interest rate was 0.3125, so that's 0.003125. 30-year loan, so the number of monthly payments is 30 times 12. Use a calculator if you need to. That's 360. Oh, I'm sorry, I put that in the wrong spot. 0.003125. The mortgage payment is what they're asking for. It says to determine the mortgage payment. So I'm just going to call that M. And now I'm going to try and find some space to actually do this. So M equals, that's great. This means I'm going to be able to put the whole thing into the calculator. P, we found was 304,000. Again, we did some work at the beginning to find that. The down payment, again, was 20%. So I found 20%, and I subtracted that from the total. Times R, 0.003125. 1 plus R to the N, 1.003125 to the power of N is 360. And again, instead of 1.003125, you could have put 1 plus 0.003125. It's the same thing. Over 1.003125 to the power of 360 minus 1. Can I put the whole thing into the calculator? Yeah, I can. 304,000 times alpha y equals enter 0.003125 1.003125 to the power of 360 over 1.003125 to the power of 360 minus 1. And I get 1407. It wants me to round to the nearest cent. 1407.87. Let me just double check my work quick. 304,000.003125. Looks good. Yep. So 1407.87. That's the answer to the first question. So I'm going to kind of erase some stuff now before I go to the next question. In fact, I'm going to erase pretty much everything. So this is getting a little messy. Now for my second question, again, the rate does not change and the number of monthly payments does not change. But once I change the principal, I change the mortgage payment and vice versa. Those are the two things that can change. Let's kind of just move this up. Now, algebraically determine and state the down payment. So again, to find the down payment, you have to first find P. So I'm going to list my variables. M, P, R, N. In order to find the down payment, I have to first find P. I want you to pause. I want you to answer the second question on your own, and then unpause. Okay, now you try the second question on your own. From the previous part of the question, the rate is still 0.003125. N is still the number of years times 12. Now it's asking for P, and it wants the mortgage payment to be $1,200. So it becomes 1,200 equals P times 0.003125, 1.003125 to the power of 360 over 1.00325 to the power of 360 minus 1. Can I type the entire thing into the calculator? No, but I can type this whole thing into the calculator. So that's what I'm going to do. In fact, I could probably just copy and paste this and delete that whole first part. That would probably be the most efficient way to do this. And I do like efficiency. Although I have a feeling I'm going to mess it up somehow. So let's see if I can get rid of this. Delete, 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 delete. So 0.003125, yeah, looks good. So I get 1,200 equals 0.004 dot dot dot. Then to find P, I divide by 0.004 dot dot dot. P equals 1,200 divided by that whole thing, 259,114. Dot, dot, dot. But it wants the down payment. So the down payment is the total minus the principal. Again, P equals T minus D. D equals T minus B. Basically, for either the down, to go from one to the other, you're subtracting from the total. So the down payment is the total amount, which was 380,000 minus the principal, which I just found, 259,114. So I'm going to do 380,000 minus this. And it wants the answer to the nearest dollar. So that'll be 120,885. I'm always nervous, so I want to make sure I got these answers right because there's so many areas to make a mistake. There are long problems. Yep, 128.85. That's my key. So I guess I did good. So, listen, these are definitely long questions. They look hard. They're really not. I think the hardest part is right here. If they ask you for the down payment, you have to find P. Once you find P, you do D equals T minus B. And at the beginning of the problem, it's the same thing. If they give you D, then you have to do P equals T minus D. Other little twist, the monthly rate. Make sure you divide the rate by 100, make it into a decimal. Number of monthly payments is 12 times the number of years because there's 12 months in a year. So your classwork / homework is to finish this, practice, practice, practice. There might be some little twists. You can check the key if you get caught in a little twist. It's something that definitely needs to be practiced. And this is a commonly asked 4-point Regents question. Hope everyone has a great day.